Lots of disruption. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Hymn to Turok, Force of Will, Liliana, Abrupt Decay. With his twist is that he uses Ancestral Vision and Jace the Mind Sculptor for maximum card draw.
Right, yeah. Justin is playing the bug deck that became popular a few invitationals back, and now it is really the control deck of the format. It's a little more controlling than Esper Stoneblade or Deathblade is, mainly because it has just 4 Tarmogoyf to finish your opponent off. Everything else is kind of like dinky, like the Baleful Strix, the Deathrite Shaman, the Shardless Agent. So it's pretty much Goyf. I think it might have 2 Creeping Tar Pit, maybe. Yep, 2 Creeping Tar Pit.
And so he's got the ability to put Ancestral Visions back because of Brainstorm and Jace.
Yep.
Which then lets him use Shardless Agent to cheat it into play. So
exactly. All right, so let's see how this goes. We have Grixis Delver is definitely more of a fringe deck than Shardless Bug is. Shardless Bug's ramped in popularity. So I'm sure Eric, even without the probe there, once he saw Creeping Tar Pit, is saying, you know what? I know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and we do have an update here. The Emrakul one isn't actually a draw because Grindstone isn't a trigger, it just mills the deck, then Emrakul resolves. So that one isn't even a draw, it's just that Jerry can't lose.
Right, no, I corrected myself. I corrected
myself
midway. The Emrakul does trigger, the shuffle triggers, right? And then, well, you still can't win though, because eventually when they have no cards left, that trigger will resolve, and then you'll shuffle it all back.
Yeah, but it's a draw anyway, because as long as there's 2 Progenitus, it's a draw.
Yeah, it doesn't matter with them, yeah. All right, well, I'm glad our brain doesn't have to fry over that. We can just watch some good old-fashioned fun here. We have
a bunch of people just bashing hyper-efficient disruption at each other.
Oh yeah, until there's no cards left. It's beautiful, isn't it? Thought sees you, Brainstorm, Force of Will, we're down to nothing left. I have a Goyfell, you have a Dark Confidant, let's have a good time.
The Great One's legacy lives on.
Yeah. Most people in Legacy are used to having pretty few cards in their hand after a few turns here. So
which of the invitationalists, which of the invitational cards do you think is the best out of like Tiago Chan, or Bob Maher, or Drew Levin? The young pyromancer himself, which we're going to see out of Eric in a minute, right?
I'm pretty sure it has to be Snapcaster Mage Tiago. It's just played in every deck that's blue for the most part. So it's, besides the combo decks, Dark Confidant's awesome. It's fantastic, but it's a very, very narrow card. You can't play it with a lot of expensive things. Snapcaster doesn't care what deck it's in, as long as you have these instances of sorceries in there somewhere. I don't know which one's better in a vacuum, but I know in Legacy, Snapcaster gets a little more love. All right, so Justin here.
I mean, you say that, but I see Dark Confidants in this matchup, lists, and I don't. Well, not even both.
Is this our? Oh, okay, then one of these, yeah.
Yeah, just the Grixis.
Yep.
But Snapcaster Mage nowhere to be found.
No, it's more of a Stoneblade, more of a. I see it in the blue-red Delver list. Decks that utilize cheap spells, the more aggressive and mid-range decks.
So this is a lot of Force of Wills. Don't totally love Force of Will in these kind of matchups. I actually don't mind boarding some out. Yeah. Like, none of the cards are worth countering except Jace, and like the Grixis deck that doesn't even have Jace.
I board out Force of Will if I'm not playing against combo almost every time.
I mean, sometimes I don't board in the Force of Wills that are in my sideboard unless I'm against combo.
Yeah, either way is fine. Definitely not the best after game 1 here against these decks. You're just, like we talked about, you can't, it's a slugfest. You have multiple Force of Wills, you're 2 for 1-ing yourself. You're going to run out of resources before your opponent, and this is going to be real bad. Alright, so it looks like they just wasteland each other back and forth.
It's interesting, neither of these players have any basic land anywhere. So if either one of them had Ghost Quarters, they would just be strip mines.
And I've seen a few Legacy decks play 4 Wasteland, 1 Ghost Quarter for that very reason. It's just so few basics around here. Almost every Delver deck is at the 0 basic mark. It's hard to play basics when you're 3 color and you need blue, black on turn 1 and black, black for him on turn 2, and then green, blue, black on turn 3. It's just very, very color intensive here. It looks like I think Eric has just Brainstorm locked himself. So he might have a Ponder here, but he's going to miss a land drop if he doesn't hit a land on this Ponder. He could play the Delver and then purposely miss a land drop to flip his Delver, and that's what he's going to do. It's risky because if Justin has another Wasteland, this game could possibly be over. All right, well, It's not going to
So
matter.
we get the classic Delver of Secrets, him to Turok.
Yep, I think Eric's actually going to force back because I think he is all in on this Delver plan.
Yeah. And it's not like any of these other cards are doing anything anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Axiom Probe. Justin's okay with that. He's holding, I think he's holding Abrupt Decay. He might not have green mana though. Oh, he does not have green mana, so he's holding Goyf, Abrupt Decay, and no green. Charlatan. He has all green spells in his hand.
Yeah, that's tough.
Did Eric just not flip his Delver?
He did forget to flip his Delver.
Okay. Alright. So you keep this pile here, you draw the land and leave the instant on top player land. Yeah, just like that. Volcanic Island, Ponder, Goyf, in that order. Eric's
considering his options.
Is he not?
He put him back in the wrong order. And he drew a Ponder he can't cast, and his Delver's not going to flip for 2 turns.
Yeah, he's just a mistake. And Eric, I think he's top 8 a couple opens, at least one. So he needs to slow it down a little bit. He pretty much threw his whole hand to protect that Delver, and then for not here.
I mean, maybe he just wants the blue card in his hand so that he has something to pitch to.
I think he has another blue card though. I think he has Force, Ponder, and there's another blue card besides that.
Is that a blue card or a Dark Confidant?
Let's see. Even so, there's just no Haymaker Justin can play that'll punish you for this.
Well, and he could be in the same spot but with a flipped Delver.
Right, yeah.
They just did it in the other order.
Because he actually should have flipped it even the turn before that because he brainstormed and put 2 instants on top.
Yeah.
Alright, so this will hopefully get Justin out of the pickle he's in. So brainstorm incoming. He's definitely not Force Will in this.
I mean, I don't know. It's Justin's only way to find green mana.
I see, yeah, it's just, I don't think it's worth it here.
And he does. Alright.
Okay.
Well, he's got quite a tempo advantage.
Yeah. I mean, Eric's in the driver's seat anyway because obviously Justin can't cast any spells, but...
And he does flip the Delver now after Dark Confidant is able to clear the top of his library and give him a random card.
Okay, so Delver's more than a 1/1 here. It's transformed into the Aberration. Insectile, is that what it is? I think? Some kind
The
of
Insectile Aberration?
Absolutely. Other way
Absolutely.
around, yeah. That shows you how many times I've played Delver. Attacks for 5 here. Puts him at 9.
This is a real short clock.
Yeah. Alright, so it looks like this game...
Yeah, so what needs to happen? Justin needs to, first of all, he needs to find a green mana immediately,
right,
so that he can abrupt decay that insect. But then he
he's
needs
got Bolt in his hand. This game's
oh yeah. The show is over. Say goodbye. Now, what is that card? It's one of the sweet promo cards, but
no idea. I saw the probe.
Is that card Ponder?
Could be.
Or Daze? I don't know.
Not sure. Very fancy foil.
I will tell you one thing. This game is over.
Okay, so Eric takes game 1. I guess you pretty much could do no wrong there when your opponent can't cast spells. It's just rough to be on the other side. And, we're talking about greed and legacy. Isn't legacy just the epitome of greed when it comes to mana sources? It's like I need all 3 of these colors, but I need them all every turn.
Not only that, I'm going to play 18 land, and 4 of them are wastelands.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play 0 basics, and my opponents are all going to have 4 wastelands among their 18 land.
And Stifle, why not? So let's have 4 wasteland, 4 Stifle.
I love it when you just take it as a given that you're going to get to cast Brainstorm, and that's how you're going to put together. Like you're like, hopefully I'll draw 1 land.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'll start chaining together restricted cards in Vintage in order to be able to find a second mana so that I can actually operate my 3-color deck with.
Yeah. It's mind numbing a little bit. Alright, so apparently that foil was a Stifle. We just had some shiny light on it. So,
Eric
sideboard.
has named his Grixis Delver deck Young and Getting It.
Young and Getting It.
Yeah, which makes sense.
And there's no
like
name
Young
on,
Pyromancer.
Yeah, no name on the Justin deck because we all know what he's playing. It's nothing roguish about this at all. The sideboard is also pretty much to the T. There's the pun there because of course this deck was a Jerry deck here. 2 Nihil Spellbomb. No problem. Just in case the viewers at home didn't catch that. So Nihil Spellbomb is a cool card in the sideboard. It's always curious because you have a chance of flipping that with Charlotte's Age, and you're like, oh, but I want to flip Hymns and Ancestral Vision. But then again, you're bringing it in against graveyard decks. Are you too upset about flipping a Nihil Spellbomb? Probably not, you know. So that's going to come in against graveyard-based decks. Let's see what else he has. He has Golgari Charm. Not bad against Young Pyromancer. He didn't even see Young Pyromancer, though. But it kills Dark Confident, Young Pyromancer, kills
But you got to know, though, when your opponent plays a Delver of Secrets and shows you Volcanic Island,
yeah.
I think the writing is on the wall that they're going to be Young Pyromancing.
Yeah, so Golgari Charm's a good answer for those. Baleful Strix, 2 more of those. Probably not.
That's much more for the green matchups.
Yeah. You got Flusterstorm, not very good here. Want him to Turok. On the play, I like having 4 him to Turok, I guess. I mean, then again, I don't know what deck I wouldn't want him to Turok against, so.
So I actually think that this is a matchup where you're gonna want to take out your Force of Wills, but what you really need are Disfigures.
Yeah.
He's got Disfigure in his sideboard, which is a cheap answer to Delver of Secrets, Dark Confidant, or Young Pyromancer, or even Grim Lavamancer.
Right. Yeah, Disfigure's definitely coming in, but we have 3 cards to board out minimum. That's the Force of Wills. Thoughtseize isn't the greatest against decks that have lots of burn in them. I tend to find myself removing Thoughtseizes, at least if I have, you know, Inquisition of Kozilek, which he doesn't have. So I wouldn't fault him for taking that card out. Maybe the Liliana, but definitely you're right. Force of Will has to come out, and maybe the couple Thoughtseizes. So that'd be 5 cards to bring out. In comes 2 Disfigure, the 3rd Hymn, and maybe 2 Golgari Charm, 5 cards.
So Eric Rill's got a number of interesting options. I mean, obviously Submerge, always good against green decks.
Yeah.
But he's got Red Elemental Blast, quality card right there. Grim Lavamancer might be worth it just to tear up the board a little. Perish, at least an option worth considering. But then the one I think is really cool is Bonfire of the Damned. You don't see a ton of Bonfire. You don't see a ton of Bonfire of the Damned in Legacy normally.
No, definitely not.
I don't think this is the best matchup for it, but I like that being an option somewhere, because you're going to run into some decks like Elves where a Bonfire of the Damned might just rip them apart.
Yeah, excuse me. And Miracles and Legacy obviously much more effective because of Brainstorm, right. Ponder, and Preordain, whatever you're using, cards that allow you to float them on top. Yeah, I see. Definitely you're going to see those cards come in, and you're going to see it really based on, can I get my Dark Confident play to stick? Can I get my Delver to flip early? Or can I mana denial them? Because you can't go the long game with a deck with 4 Ancestral Vision in it. We kind of were joking around about Ancestral Vision earlier. It's a fantastic card, but is this an example, a perfect example of a deck maybe it's too slow against?
No.
Okay.
Next question.
Absolutely not.
No, Ancestral Visions is just fantastic. Like, it's obviously just a very good card in the format, but it's fantastic in these matchups where people are just throwing the resources at each other. When people, obviously Daze doesn't really interact with it, and most likely, Force of Will isn't a great card for Eric to have anyway.
No, just be the blast.
Stifle is going to be pretty effective against it, though, and if he boards it out, it's going to be because of those Stifles he saw at the end there, which was that foil.
Right.
Ancestral Visions, though, when people are just wastelanding each other, bolting each other's creatures, countering each other's spells, if you just are in an attrition battle, there's nothing as good as Ancestral Vision in this format.
Yeah. So definitely a turn 1 suspended vision would be pretty good. It looked pretty bad there because, of course, when you're doing it on turn 3 and 4 or 5, it's much less effective. But yeah, when you see Stifle, it has to make you at least consider cutting a couple of them, or maybe all of them.
Absolutely. But it is part of your core engine, like you're using Brainstorm and Jace to set up the top of your library. Plus, sometimes you just mize.
Yeah, why not? Flip it right off the agent himself. All right, so both players keep their opening hands. Justin looks like he's either playing a Deathray Shaman here,
I think
spending Ancestral Vision. We'll see what land. That's a Deathray Shaman.
Yeah, Deathray Shaman, and it could be a Thoughtseize, but I think Deathray Shaman is just the best opening for Justin.
Yeah.
If Eric doesn't have a Lightning Bolt or a Dismember, then I think Deathray Shaman could do some serious...
Nothing, and then just gets wastelanded.
So he does it on his turn to play around Stifle, but then just gets wastelanded.
Oof. Does he not have... It's going to happen again? I don't think he has a second land. Yeah?
He does not have a second land.
The worst part is, you can't play around Stifle, and here's why. The opponent has 4 Wasteland, 4 Stifle, right?
Yeah.
Wasteland's a free card. Stifle costs mana. So at worst, if he does have Stifle, at least he can't play Delver or Grim Lavamancer or Brainstorm or Ponder or any of those.
What?
You want to go with the one that costs mana so you can send him back a little bit.
And just if you leave that fetch land in play, he can't proactively stifle it.
Right, yeah.
He can't wasteland it, and he can't stifle it unless you try to. And if he wastes his mana, you can just not spend your mana either.
Yeah, exactly. Usually what happens is if Eric did have a stifle, he's never going to tap that Volcanic Island he has in play until Justin goes to fetch it. And the problem here is you've seen Justin only has 2 lands, so he would be forced to walk into the stifle. But like you said, you play around the card that hurts Eric too. He has to sit there and do nothing until you use that wet fetch land.
You can actually, I mean, you have a lot of ways to play around stifle.
He drew a
Wasteland, like, I mean, you're just not going to be able to, I mean, the way you play around Wasteland is by not fetching.
Right.
So but either way, Justin drew a land and is right back in it. He's going to sing a little song to his Dark Master Torok.
Yep.
Dude, why isn't Torok the name of like a death metal band?
Should be.
Yeah, no kidding.
It could be actually him to Truck. Could be a full death metal band name. I mean, especially because
these
people don't play Magic anyway, so it just sounds cool to them.
Yeah, and him to Truck is already the name of one of the best anthems, one of the best musical anthems out there. But
yeah.
But
what do you think about not forcing here? By the way, sorry to.
Does he actually have Force of Will?
He has a Force of Will, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I don't love Force of Will anyway. But if you're getting him to Turok, then holding the Force of Will is even worse.
Yeah, I think
it's not like the one life matters very much.
No, definitely not. So they're deciding what to pitch here. What cards at random.
Fortunately, it looks like we're using a die with enough sides to actually resolve this matter legally.
Okay, so it looks
like to the time-honored method
he had a daze too.
Whoa.
He had daze and force.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think you just daze.
Yeah,
oh my God, he doesn't even have a second land.
Yeah,
because I think you need to daze the him to Turok there. I know you're back a land or whatever, but you got to protect the land, your only other land.
I mean, if you're upset about being back a land, you probably shouldn't play daze if you don't want to go back a land.
That's the dream right there, is to daze him to Turok.
Yeah, that's why you have that card in your deck.
All right, so fortunately, Brainstorm finds some more mana.
I think he drew that Brainstorm too.
Yeah.
So it's a.
So he's got access to a few options next turn as long as it doesn't get wastelanded.
Right. And Justin, I think even if he draws Wasteland, he's probably not going to use it because he needs a third land for the man of the hour here.
Yes.
The Shardless guy. So not only did Justin draw a second land off the top, he drew a third land off the top to make this game, pretty interesting.
So we got to make sure this is like. You can't force the will of the agent and stop the cascade. I mean, the cascade is happening.
Yeah, cascade's happening. It is happening. Abrupt Decay, worst card
swing
possible.
And a miss.
At least we have a Grey Ogre. We're good.
Eric untaps for Rill. He has a young Pyromancer in his hand.
Yeah, I think he's out of land here.
He does commit the Pyromancer to the board, though. And if he needs to protect it, he has Force of Will, so he can start advancing his board. What do you think about leading with the Pyromancer instead of Dark Confidant here?
I think I'd lead with Dark Confidant, mainly because even if, like we see the Disfigure here, a removal spell, I would waste a Force to protect it anyway.
But by forcing the Pyromancer, he gets a 1/1 token.
Yeah.
I guess you don't get to draw an extra card then.
Right. I think I'd let young Pyromancer die here, mainly because we're stuck on land. We need Dark Confidant so bad. Like we need it so bad.
So he Force Wills the Disfigure.
He's going to wasteland us right here too. This is going to be devastating.
Yeah. And hopefully he remembers the trigger and gets a 1/1 token.
He's waiting for a token.
And Justin deciding he opts to, after seeing that daze, it looks like he might actually, yeah, so first he's going to attack with the Shardless Agent to make sure there aren't 2 elementals to block it. But now he's going to play a 2-drop and leave the Wasteland open in case of daze.
Well,
and now he wastes the Volcanic Island.
Yeah, so Eric is just in a world of hurt right now. He should have let off a Dark Confidant to have a second shot at hitting land.
Well, he needed to daze that him to Turok so that he'd just have a land for sure.
Absolutely.
But so he end step submerges the Tarmogoyf, which gives him an extra token, so he does 1 extra damage, but it has the downside of the Tarmogoyf will be in play for a full extra turn.
Yeah, and
this is a little aggressive.
You're gonna lose that advantage immediately because those elementals can't get by Tarmogoyf.
Right, as soon as he plays another Tarmogoyf, like you don't have land or spells, so it's not like there's any future here. But either way, he's taking the beats and he drops to 13.
I think he's a Shardless Agent here. He has a Shardless Agent. there's minimal upside to playing the Charlotte's Agent, but just is a minimal, you know, a little edge here, because even if you flip an Abrupt Decay, it's pretty good here, right? Kill Young Pyromancer.
So it looks like he does have Dismember, which when he dismembers his Permawife, he's going to get an extra token, and now he has Justin on a 3-turn clock. Sort of.
Right. That's why I kind of like the Charlotte's Agent here, too. It's just a safer play.
So he does get a Ponder, which is exactly what he needs to help find some more mana, while continuing to advance his board.
He hits the land here, it's a Wasteland. Not the land you kind of want. Do you shuffle here? Because you don't need a second land. That's colorless. I think you...
Well, if he Wastelands, though, he can shut off green out of Justin, which is Justin's best way to defend himself.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely. Now, he might be tempted to hold the Wasteland to play Dark Confident, but I think at this point, when you've developed this board, I think it's time to Wasteland the green.
Yeah, absolutely, because this is going to completely shut down Justin's defense.
Again, Justin, if he would play the Charlotte's Agent last turn, let's see, what's the next card?
Wow, and he has nothing. He drew Liliana.
Oh.
Yeah, Liliana definitely not very good against the Young Pyromancer.
Nope.
Eric brainstorming, continuing to advance his board.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you attack with Young Pyromancer and the tokens here? Because if he trades, you still have 5/1/1s in play. I think you attack with everything, right? Because he goes to 4 with 5/1/1s in play. Pretty sure you just send team in. Worst case scenario, he blocks Young Pyromancer, he takes 4, goes to 5, and he's just dead to the tokens.
Yeah.
But he's going to hold him back.
He decides to hold him back, takes 3, drops to 6.
It's not, you know, the difference is minimal. It just...
Well, costs a turn.
Yeah.
But here's Deathrite Shaman.
Eric has a Brainstorm here, so he's going to get more guys. The problem with not attacking with Young Pyromancer there, too, is the Deathrite Shaman being a 1/2 is pretty good against these 1/1s.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But fortunately, Eric has 24 cards he can draw that will win immediately.
Yeah. Fortunately, his entire deck is live here.
Brainstorm makes another token. Is that a Strix, a Brainstorm, and a Perish?
Yeah.
No land yet, though.
Is, if he had a third land, that Perish would be lights out. Kills Deathrite Shaman and Charlotte's Agent.
Yep.
But I don't think Eric's too worried about his current position. I think we main phase Brainstorm here to hit land on our turn.
And who knows, maybe hit a Lightning Bolt or something and you go crazy.
Yeah. So tapping the Underground Sea should be Brainstorm time.
Of course, the alternative, just Baleful Strix. He does go for the Brainstorm. Probably the better play.
Let's see what the third card is. It is a land. It's a Flooded Strand.
And he also has Ponder. Most likely, though, he'll fetch with his fetch land and drop like a Strix, right? Like, I mean, do you think there's any chance he ponders here off the fetch land?
If he, I mean, like you said, he could hit a Lightning Bolt, just kill his opponent.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to wait or not. The chance of Eric losing this is pretty slim. So, but you know, it's legacy. A lot of people just want to get the match over with.
He does got to be careful though, because if he just attacks with his legal attackers, Justin can block 2 creatures, live, have 4 points of damage on the table. Eric's only at 7. Justin will be at 1, but you know, does Justin have any way to do 3 extra damage?
No, there's this is definitely the more controlling of decks here. He has Maelstrom Pulse, cool card, but I didn't get a long time ago.
Yeah, if he has Golgari Charm or Maelstrom Pulse, he can actually sweep this board and catch back up.
Yeah. Maelstrom Pulse, Golgari Charm, really good. Alright, let's see what happens here. He's going to send in team, I bet. Alright, no he's not.
He ships the turn.
That is dangerous, because if Justin draws a Maelstrom Pulse or a Charm...
I don't know. I think that's a little too conservative now, because like you gotta put some pressure on his life total here. And
he drew a Maelstrom.
He did draw a Maelstrom Pulse. So fortunately, he has days.
All right.
And so he's able to get another token and have certain victory.
Yes.
Man, if Justin would have drawn a land to go with that Maelstrom Pulse,
that would have been a wrap.
All right, so Eric advances to 4-0 with Grixis Delver. Zach Hill would be proud.
Yeah, Young Pyromancer, when M14 was released, Easily my favorite card. It's just so cool. It's so like a 2-drop that does so much, and it's uncommon, and it has, as you see, aggro applications, has control applications. I think it might be a card that we're going to see across the spectrum for quite some time here.
I'm actually a little surprised that it's uncommon. I mean, in the vein of Snapcaster Mage, Stoneforge Mystic, Scavenging Ooze, Dark Confidant, you would think that it would be rare or mythic, but
it definitely has some rare. You saw the rarity right there. It has rare power, definitely. I mean, how many tokens do you put in play? 9, 8, something like that at the very end. That is
or if you're Adam Prozac, like 24.
Yeah.